Good evening, fellow collectors. September 28th, 2010. Tonight, we're going to look at some more Mickey Mantle garbage. But before I say that, I want to say a few things about buyers. One of the biggest problems with this hobby are the buyers. 80% of people who buy and sell and collect autographs have no clue what they're buying. They don't do any research. They don't do any kind of studying. Most of them have even less common sense. And that's why the hobby is so messed up. And secondly, these people, these sellers, are protected. That little moat around eBay, thinking they can do anything they want and get away with it, even though this is what I call what is known as fraud. Don't forget Operation Bullpen. Read the book by Kevin Nelson. It's one of the most fascinating books I've ever read when it comes to autographs. But you buyers, start getting some common sense. People who sell this stuff. I know hobby shop owners who don't know anything about autographs, or maybe they do, and they're just taking advantage of an ignorant public who, like I say, doesn't have a clue about autographs. Let's get started here. 500 Home Run Club Baseball. Poor forgeries of Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams. From seller Jim J. Rock. Jim J. Rock, item number 3802-7228-9383. You'll get a better view of the other forgeries on the auction site itself. There's the item number. The COA from Shop at Home. Do you know what a lot of people don't know? Back in the 1990s, all of those Shop at Home TV shows, they got rooked for about $750,000 in forgeries. Shop at Home, QVC, $750,000 in forgeries. This item I just showed you, that 500 Home Run Club Baseball, is one of them. They were taken for $750,000 in forgeries. Mantle forgeries, 500 Home Run Club Baseballs, etc. These guys who did this stuff, they would sit home at night and watch the overnight memorabilia shows, Shop at Home, I guess QVC, and they would laugh because their forgeries were being sold on TV. Because, like I always say, people don't know autographs. They don't know anything. And they still don't know anything. Things are as bad as they've ever been, even since Operation Bullpen back in 1999-2000. Read the book, Operation Bullpen by Kevin Nelson. All right. Look at some more bad stuff. How about this Mickey Mantle poor forgery? Look at that. What is that? Item number 1805-6787-7606 from seller Dyson M. A poor forgery of a Mickey Mantle signature on a baseball. Seller Dyson M. There it is, the poor forgery. And like I always say, none of this stuff will pass PSA or JSA authentication. All of this stuff, like I always say, will be rejected. Now this one's going to crack you up. And I don't, it's really not funny, but this is ridiculous. But I'm going to show you this. Let's just look at the item number first. 330474922-388 from seller Cat Dawn 5. Cat Dawn 5. A Mickey Mantle autograph bat that sold for $99? Somebody actually had one bid and won this bat for $99. Who would, in their right mind, would even buy this bat in the beginning? According to this seller, he paid big money for this piece of crap. What a moron. And the buyer, just as bad. Look at that piece of crap. He claims Mickey Mantle signed this in his later years. Mickey Mantle's autograph was always a work of art, period. He was very proud of even his early autograph back from the 1950s, a work and piece of art. It was beautiful. Mickey Mantle's autographs, even though in different variations, just beautiful, a work of art. And look at this 500 Home Run Club Baseball. Guess who tried selling one again? Drew Wallace. Item number 3503-9751-6090. I'm not sure if this auction is still up or not. I printed it out. It was supposed to end October 4th of this year. I haven't checked on it recently. I think the bidding was up to like $5 last time I looked at it. But there it is again, Drew Wiles, who sold a bunch of these forgeries. And evidently he doesn't know a damn thing about autographs, because anybody who knows a little bit about autographs would look at that and say, what a piece of crap. And none of this stuff would pass PSA or JSA authentication. Alright, more Mickey Mantle forgeries. This is from seller Sports Card Depot. This is actually a 500 home run club baseball. Get this, a 500 home run club baseball that sold for a whopping $177.50. Item number 1604-8555-7370. Look at that pathetic Mickey Mantle from seller Sports Card Depot. And another forgery from seller Sports Card Depot right there. Mickey Mantle baseball, bad forgery, sold for a whopping $190. Item number 1604-7237-0480. Sold for a whopping $190. And another one from seller Sports Card Depot, sold for a whopping $183.50. Item number 1604-7754-3514. This crap will not pass PSA or JSA authentication. Wow, this one's really bad. Again, you know what this is? Another shop at home piece of crap. There's the item number. 3004-676-88120 from seller Gardened, Gardened. Sold for a whopping $268. There's the Mickey Mantle forgery right there. And like I said, this is the shop at home. See the way it comes with. And like I said before, the shop at home shows back in the 1990s were taken for about $750,000 in forgeries. Imagine that. This is why this hobby's so messed up. And right now, because of eBay, it's worse than ever. The policing is terrible. All kinds of people are buying cheap crap on other websites, flipping it on eBay. You got the GAI mess with tens of thousands of Mantles and Joe DiMaggios because they're GAI authenticated. eBay's pre-qualified authenticator, and eBay's making a lot of money on that crap. A lot of money, and they love it. Now, let's see what we got there in the middle. That's a very nice Mickey Charles Mantle autograph. There it is right there. Mickey Charles Mantle autograph. That's a very nice, very rare, and usually they go for over $1,000. A Mickey Charles Mantle. Somebody also just sold a Mickey Charles Mantle for a lousy $330. There's the Mickey Charles, and on the bottom, there's the Charles Mantle. So for $330, you can look at completed listings. Now, there's the Mickey Charles Mantle in the middle there. Now the one thing, this was authenticated by what they call a forensic handwriting document examiner. How the heck does somebody authenticate that Mickey Charles Mantle on the top and on the bottom? There's the Charles. There's the Charles on the other one. Two totally different. Mickey Mantle never signed like that. You're going to tell me a forensic, a handwriting guy, person, expert authenticated that? I think maybe somebody made a mistake. Maybe the secretary did it or something. I don't know. But that sold. The one there on the bottom and on the top sold for $330. Unbelievable. Alright, some more Mickey Mantle forgeries. I'm giving you examples of some really bad Mickey Mantle forgeries so you can watch. This is item number, and learn hopefully, 3205-9659-1243 from seller EOVIED03897. A really poor Mickey Mantle forgery. Another Mickey Mantle forgery, a real pathetic one, from seller MKJ5777. There's the, I just showed the mantle right there. Look at that putrid mantle. Holy crap. Item number 1404-5951-0649. Another example of a poor Mickey Mantle forgery. I challenge you to have any of this stuff pass PSA or JSA authentication. Alright, one last item, and I've showed a lot of these before. This 500 Home Run Club autographed lithographs. This is from Fire King 972. Spent $750 on this thing. comes with 3 COAs, and one of the COAs is Burchek. So we know right away, Burchek, bad. Mr. Burchek, if he did do handwriting analysis or examination, did not look at these. He never has. These are putrid autographs. If the buyer had any common sense at all he had to do was spend $7.49 on a quick opinion, and he would have saved himself $750. You'll see all the autographs much better on the auction site. There it is right there. Item number 2904-659-33436. According to the seller, it comes with 3 COAs. One from Burchek, one from somebody else. Here's the Burchek COA it comes from, which of course doesn't mean a damn thing since it doesn't list who signed it or the item signed or anything like that. It's a very generic, worthless COA, just copy. But then, there's another COA, and I'm going to read this COA to you. YMC guarantees that the autographed item you have purchased is authentic. However, if a dispute occurs because of an opinion given by a third-party authenticator other than the one recognized by YMC, we reserve the right to not recognize their opinion. YMC reserves the right to only recognize opinions given by board-certified, court-qualified forensic examiners. What the COA is really saying to us is that they know it won't pass PSA or JSA authentication. That's exactly what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying, hands down. So, here you go. A bunch of Mickey Mantle forgeries. Look at this stuff. Go back, stop it. These are examples of poor Mickey Mantle forgeries. Very poor stuff. Obvious stuff. Why do people buy that stuff? Why do people sell this stuff? The majority of people, like I said, 80%, who buy and sell or collect autographs don't have any idea what they're doing. And it really has ruined the hobby. It's unfortunate. I'll talk to you.